Jane Addams was born on September 6, 1860 in Cedarville, Illinois. She was born into a large family, being the 8th of 9 children. She lived a privileged life, however, it wasn't easy. At an early age, she had to battle with health problems. Addams graduated from the Rockford Female Seminary in Illinois in 1881. She then attended medical school and traveled. She went on a trip to Tobney Hall in London with Elena Gates Starr. There, they went to a settlement house facility to help the poor. They were inspired. After seeing the settlement house and being a part of it, they decided they wanted to make one in Chicago. With the new industrial society and the immense population growth, there were several changes in America as a whole. Chicago was one of the most affected cities at the time. There were many immigrants causing overpopulation and poverty in the city. To take care of the immigrants and the poor, there would be settlement houses. Usually social welfare programs like these were unsanitary and more like slums than living places. Jane Addams changed the outlook on these places and set high standards. In 1889, Addams and Starr opened one of the very first settlements in the U.S. and the first in Chicago. They named this the Hull House after the building's original owner. The Hull House provided over 10 buildings and extended services for the poor and the immigrants in the area.
By 1907, the Hull House had developed into a monumental 13-building structure offering classes on Shakespeare, music concerts, and the fine arts. The new buildings offered numerous classes and clubs for children and adults.
The Hull House also had interests including a gymnasium, a theater, music, an art gallery, nursery, a library, a kitchen, and a post office. In the first 20 years of developing the Hull House, so many people were drawn in to help reform the social, educational, and artistic programs involved. Unfortunately, the University of Illinois forced the Hull House to move headquarters, and the original building was mostly destroyed. However, it was turned into a monument for Addams, and it still stands today. In 1905, Addams began serving on Chicago's Board of Education. She was a member on the School Management Committee, and only 5 years later, she was the first female president of the National Conference of Charities and Correction. In 1911, Addams became the top host for the National Federation of Settlements, and she was the top host for the next 20 years. Outside of her work and her involvement in the community, she managed to dedicate herself to being an active pacifist and pushing for peace through lectures and writing. It was to no surprise, Addams later became the chair of the Women's Peace Party. In 1915, she attended the International Congress of Women in the Netherlands alongside of Emily Greenbouch and Allison Hamilton. Together, these three ladies wrote a special report on the Congress and the results of the Congress. Addams then became president for the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom to express her feelings about ending war and finding peace. Because of Addams' countless efforts as a social reformer, she shared the 1931 Nobel Peace Prize with Nicholas Murray Butler.
Addams wrote many articles and books devoted to the ideals she fought for, but also found herself in the eye of the media many times. She was criticized because she fought for equality and was often accused of being a socialist, an anarchist, and a communist. Her theories on cultural feminism were bashed in the media, but it didn't stop her willingness to fight for what she believed was right and just. She continued to rally for the rights of women as well as for peace. She founded many organizations in peace efforts and held office in them until her death.
Jane Addams passed away at the age of 74 on May 21, 1935, due to a heart attack. Addams will always be remembered as a great progressivist because of how she fought for equality for colored people and women, safe working conditions, and pushed for good schooling for children. She is credited for most of the social reform that occurred in the late 19th century. Jane Addams impacted so many lives, and her contributions as a humanitarian are appreciated to this day.